Okay. Oop. One last thing. Good. Good. All right. I think we're all set. Actually, one last bit over here, and we should be good. All right. So today, I'm gonna start up painting about an Amazon. I've already done a preliminary sketch to get it going. And we'll see where it goes. I finally decided on this picture this way. So that was an interesting one. And that's what I needed. Where are you? That'll work. Alright, so sap green, I'm thinking it would be a good one. That would be a decent base. I'm gonna work on the background first. It's a bit easier on things. I'm working back forward-ish. Very light and a bit of yellow. Almost an orange type of yellow. I guess you seem decent enough for that. And I need you. I left the background unsketched because I think that's about right, actually. I wanted to try and freehand it a bit. I got the reference there, but I didn't want to try and just follow a predetermined sketch again to test myself a bit. And the background is something that's not quite as important, so it can be left alone. Alright, and well, let's just go with this and see where we get to. We start with right about here. I also wanted to do a bit of experimenting with them. Trying to extend the background a bit. Switch down to about here. As you can see, there's, well, maybe you can. It's a very faded bit. That's because I've watered it down some. Oop. Okay. Now it's a lot lighter than I was originally planning it to be. But I do like how some of that looks. Big old open field type of thing. Comes out right about here. Bit odd. 'Cause that starts right about there. And ends up right about there. We'll see, we'll see. And I was watching some videos yesterday. Give me a sec, I've accidentally grabbed too much on one time and wipe it off. And they talked about creative anxiety. I think that's what I had with some of my stuff. I was too worked up about being perfect and whatnot. I'm pretty certain of it, but it was neat that it has a name to it. And so I like how with these I'm just painting no big ol' cell. I'm just trying to paint them as they are, let the mistakes happen, because it's being afraid of all the mistakes that excuse me, I think that it's holding me back, ironically, in my fear of screwing things up. I'm not allowing myself to progress. So that's what it is. But I'm taking a step back, and it's always okay to just take a step back and reevaluate what's going on. Another one was my thoughts on my move. I keep wavering rather, back and forth on you know what, let's just go all the way up to it. Wavering on, like, should I go, should I not, is that the best spot for it, is it not? And honestly, I don't know. A lot of times I feel like I'm not quite ready for the move just yet. Other times I'm very like, I just need to go. But it's really weird how much I'm fighting myself on all this stuff. And I can't quite explain it. It's excuse me. I think I got a hair on my nose or something. But how much I'm fighting myself on, like, if I want to do this or not. And given enough time, I probably would find a way to talk myself out of it. Currently, I'm doing a pretty good job of it. Biggest one being financial reasons. Originally, I had a plan for a set value. I was working with that. Turns out that's not quite as standard as I thought. And however, I did find a place I think looks pretty okay for a place to move into, but I would still need a roommate to cover the costs of any of it. And that's the part I really don't know how to handle. Because a lot of my plan was check places out by foot-ish, find one and apply for it. And see if any roommates needed a roommate. Type of deal. But seems to be it's not quite what's needed, or how it works. So now I'm in the odd position of I found a place that I think would be pretty good, but I don't know if they have roommates with them, or if anyone else is willing to go there. I honestly don't know how a roommate system works. I'm still learning, still jumping headfirst into the unknown. And I find that the more I try and control things, the more I try and keep things in an understandable way or some such, the more they tend to kind of just, I have to control more. In order to get this right, I have to have all that right too. In order to get that right too, I need to do yada yada yada. And it's just a lot of work. I'm trying to think of ways to not be so controlling. So the other ones is I'm going to be getting a roommate. That much is pretty much certain, unless I get like a some random little tiny little apartment in no man's land type of thing for dirt cheap because no one wants to be there, which I don't want. And I keep running back into the mindset of well, I could live like that and save some money and whatnot, being countered by, well, I'm moving because I want to better my life, and so don't settle for okay, or settle for something worse, because that's not what I want. That can help me because I get to afford things, but life is meant to be lived, so live it up. That's what I'm gonna do. I've also been doing a lot of calculations on income, like how much it would cost to how much I would have to make to oh, she's got an outline on her. That's what it is. Alright. How much it would cost to afford to live in some of those places routinely. Well, not routinely, on a daily basis. So, and I figured, and I realized it's actually very, very, very much so a doable option. I just have to piece it all together. And then there's the other aspects of, lack of a better term, the political climate. That's honestly the biggest thing that fears me. I know I'll be okay. I get the I can find a place to live. I can find a job. I know I'm okay with any of that stuff. But it's the other people. I can't say for sure. And moving this year of all years is bound to be crazy. But yeah, that's what it is. So, I know I can find a place. I know I can get a job. I know I can. I've built up enough confidence and experience to know that I'll be okay no matter the situation, because I can find a way. But there's still always that nagging fear in the back of your head. Well, what if it doesn't work out? What if I end up homeless and all that bullshit? Well, it's still a possibility, but there's also the, give me a sec. The thought, there's no reward without any risk. I know it's kind of different when talking about life and such, but I'm so ingrained to be unwilling to give up what I've already got that I'm afraid to get anything new. And I want to overcome that. I want to be better. And so one of the things I'm doing is something pretty obvious, pretty simple, and something I tend not to do much. Talk to people. I've reached out to some of the places. I've got a few more to work out on, but wait a second. But I'm reaching out and clarifying and seeing what options are there, because a lot of the simplest problems can be solved if you simply ask for it. And so instead of trying to be an absolute dipshit and do things all on my own and worry, I can just take the simple option and the easy option and the option people are giving me of talking with them and sorting out the problems with them, because that's what they do. So that's gonna be. I've got this tiniest little bit of this color left and this tiniest little stripe down here. There we go. I think for the most part that's good enough. Alright, I've got the base landscape down there. I can fill it in a bit later. I just want to get that done. Also, there is also the sky, but I'll figure that one later. Time to do a bit of oh. Okay, you know what? Take that back. Take that back. It's very weird. This is the same color I used on my Link painting originally, and it's a very dark color. But here, it's a very light color. It's very fascinating. It's got a lot of smaller bits. Sorry. Just go with you and take a stab at this. Oh. might take a while. And that just creates a blob. So that's the landscape aside for now. It's not my strong point. Alright. Alright, so, let's start with... Yep. Got a window open, the wind's going. Alright, so let's go with red. Let's start with an anchor point on all this. There we go. Yeah. Alright, so very... That is the closest I got, I guess. Let's try... That red's a little, just the tiniest bit too bright. Try a bit of brown, that might work. Let's see. Just soften it up just the tiniest bit. And get rid of this stray fuzz in here. I'm guessing the wind brought in. Alright. So let's see. Red. More red. Less brown. That looks okay. Give that one a shot. Let's give that one a shot. Okay, this is a very precise line here. This needs to be wider strap. Alright, around. There we go. Alright, until you actually come out just the tiniest bit more for a sharp turn there. Okay, so and then you come down like this. And flow on into there. Alright, there we are. And then we've got the next one, the other side. And keep it moving. Very small, very thin little line, but it is an important one nonetheless. Shit. There we are. Slide this bit down that way, and you still need bigger line. Still, just the tiniest bit more. Alright, There we go. That looks close enough. I think I could potentially touch that up with a smaller brush. Clean up some of the little white spots on there. Alright, alright. Let's go with you. Right about there seems pretty close. Pretty close. Yeah. Need more paint. It just dries so fast. Oh well, it is what it is. It's paint. I'm not quite too sure how I would handle a very slow drying paint, like apparently oils or such. I've never worked with them before, but they seem kind of fascinating. I've seen a couple of videos of people use them, and they are very, lack of a better term, greasy, which is kind of fascinating. These acrylics are very dry. They get dry like near immediately, and it helps me for like when I need to paint over some things. I can put down layers very quickly and then just work on them again. Put more things on top of it. Like for instance, I could have done like the whole background. This color here, it's all dry now. Nothing there. But with oils, from what I can tell, you can still work on them, even if you're like partway through something else or thereabouts. I haven't looked too much into them. They don't quite totally interest me as a direction I want to go, but they could be an interesting one to just like play with and see how they work. Alright. One thing I really like about this character is the hair. Her hair is a very interesting design choice. It's very fascinating. Just how it like all swirls around all over the place. I believe the term is wavy, which is I actually think the type of hair I have. Ish. I don't know. I consider mine long for the most part, but it curls up every so part way down. Not nearly crazy as this, but still. Go on, little buddy. But yeah, I've had friends who tell me to do different things with my hair, all sorts of things. Oh, you need to like do it in a braid. Oh, you need to do it like this. Oh man, and I've never been a big one on personal hairstyles for myself anyway. Other people, yeah, sure, that's pretty cool, but I've been kind of the same for a lot of my stuff. I don't experiment or deviate all that much. Alright, so do want you. Okay, so like that. Okay. And you. Yeah. More paint, more paint. Give me a sec. This is one of the lines I didn't get quite right. And it's I've got to do a little bit of alterations as we go. Alright, yeah, I sketched out this whole thing last night. finally made the decision on what character, what subject to work on, and this was it. Give me a sec. Alright, so let's see here, let's see. There's probably a way to do this in like one big smooth stroke, but I'm not quite that skilled yet or experienced enough to do that kind of stuff. I have to do a little bit by little bit. The other thing is, I think I could probably put like a hell of a lot more paint on here and work with things that way, but I've been told that you don't want paint in the base of these brushes because it'll never come out, type of thing. So I try not to do that. Alright, that's one little more touch up there. And I think that'll be okay. And again, I could probably fine-tune some of that with a smaller brush later on. And I think that's all the red. Okay, so let's work on the rest. Looks like she's got a very dark, not necessarily black, but maybe closer to the Mars black, not the solid black I've got here. Space, and then it's the steel plates, which dark gray, light gray, just like near white, which is all right. Okay, let's see. Let's go with, I think, Mars black, I said, and work with it in there. Give me a sec. Gotta clean this off. But yeah, I have found I'm much more comfortable with painting and the arts when it doesn't matter what I'm doing. It's not a project that needs to be perfect. It's just doing it because I like doing it, and I feel I can progress. I can allow myself to do more, to experiment, to see where it goes, and it's really fascinating. Not necessarily me or whatnot, but just the mindset one puts themselves through in order to do this sort of thing, or get to this kind of point. So that's you. I want some of you. I use up a hell of a lot of white. More so than I really thought I would. Alright, so there. And really, it is fascinating just how fast paint can dry. And there's always that phrase, well, I sat there watching paint dry. Well, yeah, you can do that, but depending on the paint, it could dry pretty fast. Alright, so let's work with you and see what we can get up to. And that's just kind of a flat gray, maybe a tinge of blue. Alright, you know what? Let's stick this on first. this and try our hands at the base in the back. Small brush. Let's go with small brush. And where is my small brush? There we are. And we'll go with this guy. Look at this guy. See where we can get to. Okay, so we've got and then the water aspect kind of just tosses a lot of this out. Alright, so we've got there's one ring. It seems to be alright, so those might need to be a bit bigger. Because there's 3 of them here. Yeah, they need to be bigger because I can't cover all that space with just the size I've got. Okay. Alright, so you a bit larger. Alright. Okay, so like that, and this guy down here, second row, starting it off, looks to be not quite halfway, a bit back, and there we go. Try and draw the base outline and then fill it in later. And that's such kind of fascinating how it just a simple little design and it's really hard to replicate. And this needs to be lower, that's what it is. Off center. And this guy up here. A bit smaller. Alright, it's just fascinating. Just the simple techniques a lot of artists use. And that's one of the things I like about many of the designs in this game. They're very simple, simplistic. The dudes are a bit weird sometimes. The biggest example is like the dwarf. He's just odd. I'm not quite sure where to place him in the design category. He is by far and away the definite powerhouse of the group. Or one of them. Amazon is the other one. But he's built kind of like a rock, like a dwarf would be. But he's just so oddly bulky that he's almost like entirely spherical. I guess that does play a bit into where the hell am I? There we are. It does play into his gameplay a bit where he's up and rolling around all over the screen, which could make sense, and does fall back into the design elements of the character, which is always fascinating by these guys. I've fallen in love with the art style of these games. Blanking on his name. I've got the book sitting around here. I think it's right over there. George Kamitami, I believe. This one specifically is not from him. It's a different artist. Let me pull up the name real quick. Amika Kita is the name of the person who drew this particular image. Alright, so there. And there. And now we can start filling in the odd spots. Then we can start painting in the actual metal coins. This is technically not a chainmail bikini because it's not chainmail. It's scale mail, I believe, would be the closest term for it. There should be something there. Alright. I missed one right on that side there. Accidentally filled it in a bit. And this one needs to be a bit bigger. Fill out this extra space right there. As long as I remember that, I can work into filling it out. One of the other artistic endeavors I was thinking about trying way back when with this game was the cards. In this game you've got cards which represent your skill set, and each character has unique ones for each of their classes. And they're very kind of fascinating. They're tarot-like, but not actually tarot themselves. It was fascinating. I kind of wanted to make a deck out of them at one point, but I didn't quite really know what I'd do with it once I got it. Alright. There you go. Mostly good. Alright, let's try some ones in the top part here. Alright, so we've got you, light around, and picking it up over here. Now her gloves, on the other hand, are not black. They're a very dark blue, or black with a blue tinge to them type of aspect. I'm kind of curious as to how I'll pull that one off. Alright, about here. Actually, kind of like that. Alright, but we'll figure it out as we go. I'm allowed to make mistakes here. I think that honestly is the biggest hurdle for me personally. I'm allowed to make mistakes. Because I've got a very big perfectionism problem. I'm getting better at it, but even still, it's still a thing that's there. And I'm working my way through it. Got you there. I didn't think I'd need to sketch out these chest plates here, but it's kind of fascinating doing it in paint. I'm getting into the hang of it. I've noticed when I'm not quite so focused on getting it just perfectly right, I can learn a bit more laid back, a bit more open to how things are. Alright, so This is printed very dark, and the screen has a lot more detail into it, which is why I keep looking back at the screen over here. Because like right here, this spot, it's kind of very dark blob. I can't quite tell what's there on the screen. It's just all right there, plain as day. Alright. What's the... right about there. Maybe more. Okay. It really is cool just watching things take shape and develop. Oh, one other thing. So I'm thinking about trying to boot up my social media accounts again, like Instagram and Twitter and the like, and try and get them as a point to post some of this stuff online, like the final product and the like. Let's see where it goes. Maybe posting a couple of art threads and forums and what have you. Not really putting such a huge effort into it, but I'm thinking I'm about ready to be able to do that. Because I do still see like horrible DeviantArt quality things just plastered all over the place, and it kind of amazes me that it's those people decided to release such a thing flat out open to the public. Look at how awesome my stick figure OC character is. Do not steal. I never went through a stage like that. Not denying, I just never had an OC. I've never gone through the Sonic Sona or any oddball thing like that, which happens to be a lot of kids apparently. I've honestly never been one for a Sona in the first place, because I know inherently that is not me. That is not a character I wish to be. And whenever I play games or whatnot, or read stories, I read it and view it as that character is that character, and I am me. I am not this valiant hero or what have you. I'm simply along for the ride. And I've kind of always had that mindset. Maybe not early on, but I can't remember. But I've never misconstrued. You know, there's always that like young elementary type kid stuff where you pretend to be a superhero or something. And I probably did that. I don't really remember it being a main thing with me. But yeah, like on Halloween you dress up and you're like pretty awesome and you get to be a person for a day. I remember one year I was Wolverine, well, Wolverine, most people know who I'm talking about, especially if anybody's here right now. Big old yellow costume and all that. I ran around doing that for Halloween one year. But I never thought I was him. I was just playing as him for a bit. I think that's a big difference with a lot of the Sona aspects of people out there. They tend to think, this is my true self. I am now this Sonic character or whatever. And I think that's when the disconnect starts happening. It's okay to imagine things, but there is a limit to what you can do. Oh, no, not a limit to what you can do, but a limit to when it becomes fun and when it becomes unhealthy. I don't think I've ever entered that unhealthy territory, which I'm kind of thankful for. At the same time, it's I don't quite know how to feel about it. I think part of that is one of the reasons I don't quite have as much creativity as I'd like to have. Like, for example, I'm drawing one-to-one. I'm not creating my own painting. I've always had issues with genuine creation. That's one of my biggest Achilles heels. Shortcomings, I guess, is a better term. And I think I attribute it somewhat to that because I think I'm based heavily in reality. Even though I really do enjoy the fantasy, I think it also applies to some of the other stuff as well. I'm trying to create things exactly as they are. Exactly. And when it's a fictional character, fictional world, I can't do that because they're based in magic or what have you. Come on, more paint. And I keep trying to make it as it would have appeared. Alright, so like, for example, one of my earlier skill sets was making clothes. I was working at making cosplay. Oh, that's another one, cosplay. It's fun to act as them for a bit, but I don't tend to be them. I've only had one experience with cosplay personally, of personally doing it, not experience in general. And it was actually pretty fun. I ran around as No Face at a convention where I didn't understand most of what people were saying. It was fun. I really did have a lot of fun doing that, but I realized I was not that character. I was not No Face enacting things. I was just being silly, handing people some random chocolate things, coins and the like. And it wasn't a costume I made. It was one that was given. I was allowed to borrow from a friend. It's pretty cool. And whenever one of the other things is I did a bit of voice acting, or at least I tried to, earlier on, most of last year, honestly. And I guess I see that as well in a lot of actors who play an important role and then expect and believe themselves to be important because of it. You see it all the time in, like, high school dramas or whatever, the TV shows and whatnot, where it's like you have the very flamboyant I am the main actor bullshit. And it's weird. The human ego is so weird at times. They stretch things so far to make sure that they're seen as superior in some fashion or whatever. I know I'm superior in some things, mostly some skills and knowledge, but I know flat out I am not superior in a hell of a lot of other things. I couldn't quite tell you what they are off the top of my head, but that's the thing. And I've even encountered, I know of a few people who believe they can do no wrong. And it's such a weird mindset to me. It's like, I am perfect, even though everything is failing around me. I can do no wrong. There is nothing wrong with my situation. You're mistaken. Just that crazy level of denial. I don't quite get it. Well, I kind of do, but one of it is not allowing yourself to feel bad or accept failure on your own part. So in order to never be wrong or never have a failure on your part, just never accept it and it'll never be, right? I don't like that. One of the other aspects is optimism or positivity. That's another precarious slope, because you need a bit of positivity to make it forward. Without any positivity, you would become severely depressed and nothing would have meaning, which is not something that is desirable by most people. But on the other hand, if you have too much positivity, that can be a problem as well. It's like you get these people who are just like in the state of denial over the state of things. It's like, no, it's all good. It's all good. Everybody's a happy family. Everything's happy. Everything happy. Don't worry. It's things will work out. And just this. Hello. How's are you? How's am I? I'm doing okay. Starting up the next painting. This one's in Amazon, and I'm talking about deranged positivity at the moment. I guess it's one thing to work on. That's what I got so far. Not a hell of a lot, though I did just start, so we'll see where we go. Oh no, it's ouch. I'm gonna assume that's the positivity part. No, just speaking about random people and ideas and concepts. Just rambling. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so this is filled in. Alright. But yeah, just talking about some of the people who just refuse and are therefore unable to accept the truth for what it is. I've already screwed that up. Great. It should be more like that. Too much distraction here. Thanks, man. You made me screw it up. The whole thing is ruined. Gotta start all over. But talking about the people who just live in this own little fictitious world of theirs. There's always a bit of daydreaming, I guess is one way to put it, which is okay, but you've got to realize that you are daydreaming in the first place. And there's a lot of people I know who just don't. Give me a second, I've got some oddities here. Trying to match it up right, and it's just being a bit off. I guess that one moves. There we are. And that'll be redone. Okay, there we go. Fixed. But yeah, because that is one aspect I'm a bit worried about during the move. The severity of the crazy people. That might be it. That line, I think, was guessed at here. So let's go and raise that line up a little. But I'm worried about the sanity level of people I run into. And more specifically, my roommate and the like. Because I will need one when I go out. But you can't just go up to somebody and say, "How sane are you? Are you willing to move in with me?" That's not quite how it works, nor is it how you should go about things. I guess that, alright. Yeah, a little bit more over here. Followed by one over here. Yeah, I've got something weird going on over here. But yeah, crazy, you know. Yeah, I'm just hoping I don't. That's what it is. That line is wrong. Too sharp of an angle. That's why. Alright. That's why it's weird. That line is too high. But yeah, it's definitely a thing. And so that's just kind of the main concern I have is honestly my roommate and the political climate of the amount of crazy people out there. So you should have been like that. That. Right there. And I'll go like that and call it good with a slight little curve up here. And they do have a outer lining on this. Give me a sec, I'm trying to finish this up. But how does one go about finding a sane person? Honestly. Alright. I think that's good enough for now. I do need to fix that red one. There's some crazies out there, definitely. And honestly, there's no escaping them. They're all out there. But yeah, it's... That's correct. Hello, good sir. Would you happen to know any sane people in the area? No? Have a good day. But yeah, it's weird. Because, from what I understand, there's a lot less worry about some of that in the older days. I think it goes with feathers. Let's bring that one. Maybe not, maybe not. Let's work on, I guess, the gloves? We can work on the gloves. So the next one's in line, so let's figure that out. Or I could Work on the coins. Yeah, let's work on the coins. And those would be shades of gray and white. It's getting kind of windy out there. Might have a storm or something coming. I don't know. But yeah, it's. I've just recently been worried about some of that stuff, all the moving preparations, and I keep trying to like find the best spot and prepare for the worst, and I'm not ready for the worst. Just as a side, I have enough to make do with how things should go, but should things turn horrible, I don't quite have anything ready for that. A bit more white for this one. And that's one of the things. I have enough to be okay for a while. But I don't know, it's just weird. Yeah, the storm is kind of brewing. It is what it is. And this color is not quite right. This is too warm of a color, I think. Oh, let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. Let's start with this one, I guess. Close enough, that'll work. But yeah, speaking of storm, just the political craziness in America keeps getting worse too. Apparently, there's a new thing that's apparently been going around for a while, but I wasn't really aware of it. I knew it like kind of exists, but didn't know to the extent that it was. It's this thing, I think it's called 1619 or crisis racism, something weird like that. And basically, it amounts to black people telling white people, or just white people teaching this stuff, that white people are all inherently racist. And it's not just like some crackpot on a soapbox yelling all this. It's literal businesses and schools teaching this and having it required educational material in order to keep your job. And it's being explained to white people that we are racist. And yeah, that's not gonna fly. That's not how it works. But yeah, apparently that's stirring up some ways. Yeah. It's a thing, and some businesses are requiring people to be educated on the subject by forcing them to attend these classes, mainly schooling and like government type aspects. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. These coins are all shaded, so I can't use the same tone for everything, so I'm trying to find the spots I can. Let's go with you, so with you. And yeah, and then there's all these riots. If you want to see something really silly, look up like Antifa fireman or something. They're set himself on fire, something of that nature. Apparently during one of these riots, these Antifa guys tossed a Molotov cocktail at police or something. It didn't really do anything, but one dude thought he'd be a badass and run through the fire. Caught his shoes on fire. And so then you can see him running away, just trying to put it all out. It's sparked into an incredible meme. Me and my dad busted a gut laughing at some last night. It like broke this morning or like yesterday or so, but the internet sure does work fast. And they put him to music, some Russian dancing stuff, you know, that the little leg thing, burning ring of fire, all sorts of stuff. Cotton Eye Joe, and Photoshop a little hat, cowboy hat on top of him, all sorts of ridiculous bullshit like that. But yeah, so that's kind of the state of our current civil war. We've got idiots trying to start fights and everybody laughing at them. Well, most everybody laughing at them. People who are actually problematized by it are not quite laughing. But it's an entire group of people that just, there's no other term than they're idiots. For instance, they've got Black Lives Matter guys who are advocating that Black Lives Matters. In and of itself, that statement is actually okay, but the way they go about it is just beyond stupid. They're currently going around rioting, looting, and basically pillaging all sorts of businesses and anything in the area. They're vandalizing stuff, FYD, go home, all that kind of stuff. All that wonderful, lovely things everybody wants to see. But one of them is they ransacked this gas station or something and looted, vandalized the whole shebang, the standard deal. But it turns out it was a Black Lives Matters person's business. Somebody who was actually literally protesting with them, was mad that they decided to protest her house or her business. And there's a video of her sitting there yelling at the people, I protested with you all. Fuck you all. Yes and no. I think it's, lack of a better term, a necessity at this point. It's one of the best examples I can give is it's just gone nuts. I think one of the best examples I come up with is like cancer. If you just sit there and let it be and try and coexist with a cancer, it'll never work out. You'll always be trying to appease the demands of the cancer. Oh, let it be. But it'll only ever bring everybody down. That needs to be shorter. Okay. And so what you need to do is cut it out and allow everything else. Another example is weeds in the garden. That's one I've used every so often. TP hoarders. You and me both. Like all the people sitting there actually getting into fisticuffs with other people over toilet paper. Now, admittedly, nobody wants to run out of toilet paper. Fair enough. But the people who hoarded like 20 packages of the shit, why? And the thing is, what the hell happened to it? That was back in early this year, and it was stock up, and everyone's going crazy over it. Yet nothing happened. There was extreme shortages because everybody was hoarding, and everyone was hoarding because there were shortages. That circular loop. March, so March, April, May, June, July, August. Nothing happened. People went about their daily business. Nothing significant happened. Yeah, that needs to be up higher. Okay. Give me a sec. Alright, there. But yeah, it's all these people who just straight up knee-jerk reaction to oh my god, we gotta do this or everything's gonna fall apart. The world's ending. To some extent, the societal world is ending, not the physical world. And that's another aspect of it. I see a lot of things as needing a reset button. And everyone's worried that, oh my god, you can't do that. You can't just reset things. Why not? Well, it's this weird bit where people are more worried about the idea of something happening than the actual happening of it. This whole pandemic being one of them. Yeah, apparently, the Center for Disease Control, the CDC, I believe, a short while back, released an update on the numbers of people killed by the disease. And they originally had 151,000 for the entire nation of America, I believe. And then they had some adjustment figures in an update and found that only 9,000 were killed solely by the bug. Like no other odd factors. Apparently, the number one was obesity and pneumonia. I think were the two largest contributing factors to death, or the actual cause of death, with the bug being the agitator for it. And so we have the entire world on lockdown for 9,000 people. Doesn't quite add up. What I'm finding fascinating, and so are some of my parents, is how the world is handling it. Like, basically, the entire world is rioting against this. Just all over. Which is kind of fascinating. Not everything is hopeless. There kind of is in China. But, yeah. Not really a hell of a lot I can do on that front. Even though I disagree entirely with how everything is being handled over there. It's China. Yeah, it's true. And one of the things is, do I like anime? Yeah. Well, it's kind of a hard question to actually answer, because if you say, do you like anime? All anime? No. Specific ones, yes. And the general style, honestly, to kind of re-avert your question a bit, I like the 3D anime style of a lot of games, though ironically I tend to hate most of the games that use it. The cel-shaded, flat, soft color of the games tend to look pretty cool, but the games themselves kind of tend to suck. I don't know. Why do you bring that up, Marty? Anyone in particular you want to talk about? I am also not in any current anime. Yeah, the last one I watched was Hunter x Hunter. Do you make your own? Well, not really. Made this yesterday. This was entirely from reference. Somebody else drew this. But give me a sec. Yeah, I copied it out of this book. Where are you? Should be a bit further back. Here. Yeah, I, by sight, transferred this picture to this picture. Not too bad. So, do I make my own? Not really. Currently, I'm working at learning and understanding art processes, how they all fit together and all that. Alright, so I'm gonna need different colors for the metal bits. I need the other black specifically. So let's work on the skin color. It's very pale. Well, pale to the highlights. It's actually very. That color is a bit hard to place. It's got. Oh, it's a fair skin with reddish shadows. Let's go with that one. So, all right, let's work with that. Let's work with that. But yeah, it's I like the style of anime. A lot of times it works out, but I also see anime as a crutch for a hell of a lot of people, which is not really a good thing. Hell, I'm not really all that much better, but anime is a simplified version of. I'm trying to figure out what. Do I have a color like that? Brown? Let's go with brown. That might work. That might be a way to do it. But a lot of people use anime as a oversimplification, and I don't quite want to be in that that spot. I want to be able to understand why it works. Like, for instance, here, well, I'll use this one here. She's got her leg here, and even though this is nowhere near what the human body actually looks like, it's still based off the basic building blocks of it. Like her arm here, this is the bicep, this is the deltoid, and this is the tricep coming up here on the bottom, the elbow, and then the muscles I can't remember for her arm there. They're all in there. It's not just a simple little two lines and a noodle arm. They have that in place. And then the muscles down here, you've got the quadriceps here, and they're actually, you can actually see them. Then the side ones on the hip, and then the butt in the back. It's all there. This is not just an anime person. This is a anime styled person. So that's what I'm trying to look at. And one of the other things is I would like to study the human body and figure out a bit more how to do some of that stuff and what specifically they look like, because right now I'm making a copy of a copy of a person, you know, for shorthand notification of it. And so, well, look out, give me just 1 second. Not quite right. And so I would like to learn the original, but I can't quite do that on stream. That's not really allowed. So this is kind of one of the next best things, while also being an artwork I'm actually art style I'm actually really interested in. Let's see, a bit more brown. Try and get an actual tinge in there. Maybe. Maybe. Let's see what that goes. And so yeah, it's I'm simply working out. It's a hard color to get. I'm not sure if I can. You know what? It is what it is. So let's give it a shot. See where we get to. And I forgot. Damn it. I'm still learning how to take care of brushes and shit. Getting into proper habits of all this. But yeah, it's I will be learning how to do it. And I like being able to. Quite honestly, the human body is quite amazing. Not just the human body, bodies in general, even like animal ones. Those ones are fascinating as well because they have a similar muscle structure and oftentimes a similar skeletal structure. Hell, I've seen horses and the like have the same type of bones as humans have for their limbs as we do for ours. Let's see where this goes. This is the wrong color, but will work as a base, and figure it out as we go. And I will need more color. But it just, I've always been fascinated by the mechanics of things, and the body is another one of those aspects. And I'm out of color. And so I always like it. It's I also have like this big old stockpile of just art images to reference and look at every so often, things to work from. I need a bit less color in there. Make this uniform. Let's see where we go. Give me just 2 seconds. Mixing up a big old batch of paint because I need a lot of it. But yeah, it's the body's fascinating me, and the art styles big old art library I've acquired over the years. It's fascinating. A lot of it is just artwork that seemed interesting, or concepts like a arcane golem, or like a witch powered by mushrooms or something like that, or pumpkins. Just odd little, neat little concepts or good drawings, things of that nature. And it's one of the things that don't tend to make it in there, however, are poor anatomy pictures. Ones where like they just have a well-endowed woman and like nothing else makes sense. It's like, yeah, okay, maybe, but it doesn't work. And I'd noticed that stuff in flipping back through, because the anatomy is big for me. I like, because this structure here, it's all structure, even though it's incredibly out the wazoo stylized. There is still a very adept knowledge of how the body works in this piece. Come on, read some lines. And I really appreciate that. And it's, I guess, one of those spots where you need to know the rules before you can break it, because I've seen a lot of anime, or people who work with anime, draw like little stick figure comical arms. There's, in and of itself, there's nothing wrong with comical arms, and it's actually something I have trouble doing. Simplifying things to a point where it still looks good. Yes, she does. Very highly stylized. Yes, but it's all there. the knowledge of how the muscles work and interconnect is there, and it's not, because that's just the one thing that really does irk me, is like in a lot of anime, cartoons, or just a lot of art styles, and I keep thinking of DeviantArt for some strange reason, where people, it doesn't work, it just physically doesn't function that way, but they've spent so much time on the detail and whatnot that, like, the face and like upper body look good, but then like the back is like way the hell over here in some weird perspective shot or something, and it's like that's not how the body works. It doesn't go like that. I don't know. I need a lot more paint for this. And I know this color is very off, very wrong, but it's the base color. I'm working at this shade here, then I'll add the reds in afterwards and try and touch it up a bit better as I get closer to closer to it all. Alright. Oh yeah, and then there's that weird fuzzy outline out there. She's got this weird white outline. You can notice it a bit more here, maybe on the picture on the screen up there. But she's got a white outline covering her to differentiate her from the background a little bit more, which is kind of fascinating. I didn't actually notice that when I first looked at this. And it's shit like that. All these small little details that, honestly, if you were just drawing it normally, I would not have done that. I would not have put that in there. But the fact that it's there means that they deliberately did that to make her stick out a little bit more from the background. A technique or some such to showcase her, and train the eye to look at the character and not the background. A lot of stuff like that. I am also fascinated oftentimes with behind the scenes technical details. All those little, oh, come on, that little paint flecks sticking there. But yeah, and I love the little details. I love all the things like that, because they don't have to be put in there, but they were, and it's fascinating learning why they were, what the thought process behind doing some of that is, and then learning from it. And you can just pick up all sorts of stuff that way. And also, I need to have a lot of paint for all of this. I've only got half of her painted in them. I've used up all the paint I've got here. Well, mostly. But yeah, and it's all those little details that a lot of people kind of gloss over. They draw a pretty looking face and just leave it at that. And for me, that's kind of a disservice. It could be better. Just put a bit more effort into it. But it is what it is. Need more peach paint. Yes, I do, but unfortunately, I don't have peach paint. I have yellow and brown, and I have to make the peach paint. I'm not quite sure they have any at the art store. I could check them out, but it's check to see if they have any out there, rather. But yeah, and that is one thing about paint that is a bit different than digital. That kind of is an annoyance. In order to make this color, you have to physically have it, as opposed to being able to just mess around on a color wheel until you get the right one. But at the same time, with paint, I can kind of mix it around, and there's a bit of play involved. I can, give me a sec here. I can get something close and it'll be alright. And if it's not, I can mix it around a bit more and get it spot on. As opposed to digital, where you gotta get it just right. Oh, come on, I think I gotta work with my brush here. Give me a moment. Gotta clean out some of the paint here. But yeah, it's there's a lot of people who talk about doing traditional before digital or things like that, and I don't see that as a rule, but I see it as a significant help. Because one of the other things with a painting like this, you're a lot less prone to want to make mistakes because they're harder to undo. For instance, if I did the line, oh wait, undo, Control Z, undo, 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 undo. Oh, there we go. And because I did that, I would do that all the time, trying to get that line just right. But with traditional, that line may not be perfect, but I learned to get it as close as I could and then deal with it, which is a different thought process than digital. It's small, subtle stuff like that, but it's kind of a fascinating thing to think about. Just the mindset of how things work. One of the other things, like on that note, I used to only do things in pencil, mostly when I was in high school and whatnot. I'd always have a pencil with me because I was afraid of screwing something up. I could erase it and then fix it. Then at some point, I started carrying a pen around because, one, that's what a lot of adult paperwork needed, but it's a happy little mistake. Yeah, there you go. It's allow yourself to make the mistake and then just go with it. But I started carrying a pen around, and I started using a pen more than I did a pencil, because one of the things was I wanted to try and not be so afraid of mistakes. It was something small and stupid and simple, but a pen is permanent, and if you screw up, you can't quite undo it. Yes, there's whiteout and such, but it's still a mistake that you made. And I started working with that, and now I'm perfectly comfortable working with a pen. And hell, the drawing I did here, if you look, it's now got a black outline, which means I pulled a pen and did it in one go. Not one solid continuous line, but I made lines and didn't make any mistakes on it. I wasn't afraid of, oh my god, what the hell if I mess up? Because, so what? I made a mistake. And honestly, you probably can't really tell many of the mistakes I have. The first spot I started, you probably can because that was a bit of a big one, but it's a change of perspective, a change of mindset that can really open up your eyes and do stuff. Yeah. Thank you. And it's just, I was holding myself back because of fear of failure in so many ways. It's one of the reasons I keep trying to force myself to get through it. I'm willing to bet it's something that'll always be there. Is once I slack off, it'll come back to bite me somewhere. That's a big reason for why I'm forcing myself to move. To allow myself to fail in the largest way I know of to date. But I also know it's going to allow me to succeed in the largest way known to date. At least for me personally. So I think that's the big trade-off. And goes back to one of the comments I was making yesterday? I don't know, days blur together. About giving up okay for good, giving up good for great, giving up great for spectacular type of thing. And it's a difficult one to... Yeah, shit. That's a brown. And that's in a spot that is not brown. And I'm now out of paint again. It's weird how fast this stuff goes. I could probably thin it out a bit, but I'm actually trying to get down a thick coat for the bottom layer. Alright, and one more up there, I think. There we go. Good enough. Yeah. I am literally out of paint. But yeah, and it's giving up good for great, okay for better. That's something I really truly want to be able to just do. Because again, my fear of failure, like for instance, my talking about the pencils and the like, where was it? There was something there. Is something I really want to overcome personally. If anything, that's the biggest one. Because I always tend to settle. I always try and settle for okay. But by moving, I'm forcing myself to give up on good and make myself great. And it's still horrifying, still terrifying. Well, at the same time, not. It's this weird emotion, and I don't know what to do about it. So I just keep plugging along. The biggest, because one of the other things is, I keep doing the figuring over and over and over again. How much money I'll have to spend, how much money I'll have to work with, being able to afford things, the like, in case things go wrong, all that stuff, which is a good thing to have for the most part. But part of it is I keep working with you can learn to be a good pimp. Not entirely sure how to take that statement. Oh my god, no. Would it surprise you to say I already was a pimp at one time? Okay, minor story time. I was, invited by a good friend. She was, having a wedding, and so I knew the bride, and we were good friends, and she was going on a bachelorette party, and she invited me, and so I went along with it, and we had a bit of a dress code. She originally wanted to try some like Halloween party thing, but that didn't quite fall through, so we kind of went with just a color scheme to identify all of us together. and it was like black and red, and I had a decent red shirt, and I had this nice vest. You know what? Hey, what would you guys say if like I went as a pimp? Oh, that's such a good idea. You should do it. Like literally, they were all telling me I should totally do that, and I could be their pimp as we were walking around, going wherever the hell it was we were going. And so that's what I did. I even, hell, be right back. Be right back. Yeah, I've got a pimp hat, complete with a summer feather. But yeah, I had the vest, suit. I looked pretty dang good, honestly speaking, and we had a lot of fun with that. And one of my most memorable moments in life. I don't have a lot of really good memories, mostly because I just didn't do anything in life. But that moment is one I'll remember for a long time. I understood that reference. As stupid as it is, I understood that reference. But yeah, it was really fun. And what was really fascinating, we didn't quite plan it, but that's the way it went out. I ended up being the designated sober person. So I was the guy keeping an eye on everybody. It was just a really fun time. I'm not going to get into many specifics. It was a good party, and I can brag about it to the day I die, I guess. But I'm not going to reveal any personal information. That's not for me to say. But yeah, we had a really good time. We even played some like really silly and stupid party games at the hotel. God, those were retarded. But everybody had fun. It was a grand time. Give me a moment. But yeah, so I do have a story of being a pimp for a night. Yeah, I honestly don't have anything else there, but yeah, it was weird. I even got a picture proof somewhere, not a photograph, but just digital picture somewhere saved of. And one of the things is, we originally had a big old schedule. Go to this place, go to this area over here, and we were giving it a shot. We had a hell of a lot of things planned out, but one of the more memorable ones was when we said, well, why the hell not? Let's try out this place here. It was one that we weren't quite sure on. Well, this was kind of a maybe. We did a lot, not we, but the person in charge of organizing the event. She's very good at organizing things. And she, give me a second here, had a lot of backup plan type stuff. And this is very thick line, going out to some places, trying out others, things like that. And one place we went to was a gaming bar because the bride was kind of into video games, not like as an absolute nerd, but she knew enough about them. She liked it. So we ended up going to that place. Kind of, well, why the hell not? And they had so much stupid fun at that place. It's kind of crazy. And they stop that. Small brush. And they were dancing their hearts out at that place. They had and to be fair, it wasn't quite my cup of tea. Not the gaming aspect, but the club vibe that they had. They had music and stuff over there, and so I always talk about my like hobby of like just watching life happen, and that was one of the moments. I was sitting there watching them dance and fully in the moment, just having an absolute blast, being dorks and just being absolutely silly. Anyway, at that gaming bar we were at, they had a little outdoor area where they were doing all the music and stuff, and they had this big old wall, and you could like paint on it with like fluorescent paint and whatnot, and doodle and do all sorts of crazy bullshit. And so we got around and started doing weird little doodle drawings, and they started drawing some paint on themselves. And hey Corey, get over here. Yeah, we're gonna put paint on you. Alright. So I sat there and let them like doodle like little war markings and just fluorescent paint on my face, and we all sat around and took a big old picture for it. And it's one of my cherished ones, because at that moment we were all having fun. We were all kind of together and doing silly little things, and I really do enjoy it. We rented a big old party bus, like an actual party bus. We were during the the planning process. We were looking at give me a sec. We were looking at potentially getting a limo or something like that, but we decided on a party bus instead because that sounded a lot more fun. And I think it worked out too, because we won't have to cram into a limo, and it worked out. It was a really great time, and I'm very, very thankful they allowed me to accompany them on that, be a part of it. Yeah, the same with my trip to the Portland Belly Dance and my trip to Germany Comic-Con convention. Those are like the three highest points in my life, and they all happened because of friends I either didn't know or just people I happened by chance to meet. Quite honestly, every big point in my life was from a time when I just decided, why the hell not? Let's see where this goes, with people who we just kind of ran into. There was no significant plan for a lot of this. There was no not like the the friends of the bachelorette party I happened to run into, and that's how I got into them. And same with the belly dance people I started hanging out with, and we and because of that, because the belly dance friends, I started into belly dance. Because of that, I went to Portland to check that out, and I went with random people I had never known, never met, never anything. And I said, hey, can I come with you? Sure. And it was a wonderful time. Germany, people who found my channel, and we just chatted. I didn't know them, they didn't know me. We just kind of happened to meet together at one point, and now all of a sudden, because of that simple little hi, how you doing? What are you doing here today? I took a trip to Germany, and I love that aspect of life and the world. And again, serendipity. Just how things all coalesce and come together to come, like the simplest, tiniest little details that most people would tend to overlook. Like, I took a belly dance class because I was walking down the stairs and saw a poster. Why the hell not? Because of that, I went to Portland. Holy shit, look at this. And I met all these people. Because of stuff like that and my desire for art, I took up this Twitch channel. Because I took this Twitch channel, I met somebody. Because I met somebody, I went to Germany. And it's just, I love how everything works together like that. And all of it was, you couldn't pay me enough money in the world to come up with any of that on my own. Like, oh yeah, I'd take up belly dancing and then go travel the world and all that stuff because of it. No, I would never have planned that ever. It was all because of what happened. I relinquished control of my life and said, why not? And great things happened to me. And I'm hoping that happens again with my move. Though this time, it's not quite just a visit or a temporary thing. It's a bit more permanent, which makes it all the more scary. But anyway, that's gonna be about it for today. Give me a moment and I'll show you a close-up of what I've got here. Clean you up a little. But yeah, it's I want to allow life to happen like that. Allow chance and chaos and the unknown to take part in things. But anyway, here's what I've got so far. It's not that bad. Need a little bit more work, but I just started, so that's where we're at today. Anyway, see you later, guys. And what was it? Gator don't play no shit. That was so silly. Maybe I can find out my pimp clothes and wear them for a day. Show you guys like that. But anyway, see you guys later. Have a good one. Oh, I will try and check out that stream today. It's in 5 hours, so I might not be on time, but I'll give it a shot. Try and see if I can make it, or if I can watch it. If it's 1080p, it causes issues on stream. But anyway. Yep. I remembered. I've got the sticky note right here. Sticky note. Alright, see you later, guys. Have a good one.